My goal in telling you how I get to these specific places is not to show you explicitly every single rate from every single airline, because there are lots of airlines and they all have lots of partners and they have different rates for traveling on their own airline than they do to travel on their partner airlines. And then they have different rates for economy, business, and first, and sometimes premium economy. And then some of them have different rates based on how far you fly, and some of them have different rates based on when you fly, and some of them have different rates based on where you fly in specific zones. My goal with this course is not to teach you specifically every single deal that's out there, but to give you the tools that I've been using so that as things evolve and change, for years to come, you're able to get hundreds and thousands of dollars of value out of your points that you otherwise would not be getting, because you have the tools to find the deals and you know how this thing works. You know how this game works. I'm going to throw as many things at you as I possibly can and share with you all the tools, but you're going to find different things than I have ever found. You're going to find deals that I have never found. You're going to find different partners that I have never transferred to, and that's perfectly okay. There's going to be deals that work for you specifically based on where you travel to, how many times you travel, when you travel, where you travel. So I'm going to share with you as best as I can how I've done this, but I encourage you to find as many great deals as you can because there's so many out there. Let's get started. Let's talk about how to find great deals within the United States, Puerto Rico, Alaska, and Hawaii. As a reminder, here are all of the airline partners that you can transfer to with transferable currency, with the exception of American Airlines, which I've included because we're going to talk about it just because it's the world's largest airline by passengers flown and seats available. I'm not going to talk about all of these programs. I've bolded some of the ones that are my favorites, but they change and rates change. I'm sorry if you've heard this way too many times, but if the ticket is expensive, pay with points, provided that it's available for a good rate with points. If the ticket is cheap, just pay cash. My personal target is to save at least 2 cents for every mile that I use. So if the flight is $1,000, I want to make sure that I'm spending 50,000 points or less. If I'm spending 50,000 points or more, I'm probably going to try to pay cash. Here's an example of Aeroplan's current award chart within North America. You can see that it is a distance-based award chart within North America, and they have rates for themselves and rates for their partner airlines, which in this case is United Airlines, because that's their Star Alliance partner within the United States. If you were to fly to Chattanooga, unfortunately, it is 501 miles. If you were to fly to Knoxville, it is 475. If you were to fly to Huntsville, it is 510. So you can see here, this flight is 6,000 miles to Chattanooga. Sometimes airlines calculate it slightly different than the way that GC map does. So in this case, Aeroplan considers this flight under 500 miles. But the flight to Huntsville is over 500 miles. So if you live in Huntsville, you're going to pay the next rate. And if you use your Aeroplan points, you may just want to save them until you can fly 1,500 miles, because that's the same rate as it would cost you to get to Huntsville. Let's do an example here. Let's say I live in Chicago, which I don't, but I live in Chicago and I'm going to Huntsville and I need to go there on February 13th. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually go on Google Flights and see how expensive it is. You can see here that they're charging $140, but if you fly on United in their basic economy, you do not get a carry-on bag, which is kind of a bummer. So the nice thing about booking with points is you're always going to get this economy rate provided you book with a partner. American and Delta do have a basic economy rate, but it's only for their own flights. They do not have a basic economy rate for partner flights, and their partners do not have a basic economy rate for them that I'm aware of. If this flight is $175, I'm going to try to make sure that I'm spending 8,500 miles-ish or less to get there. So first, I'm going to go on seats.aero, and I'm going to search this flight from Chicago to Huntsville on 12/13. And I can see that there's a lot of different rates, the lowest one being 4,500 miles. And that is because Alaska's partner chart says that if it's less than 700 miles instead of less than 500, they start at 4,500. Unfortunately, I do not have Alaska miles, so I've got to look elsewhere. Don't really want to spend my hard-earned American miles for only like a 2-cent return, because I've seen them as high as like 6 or 8 cents. So in this case, I'd probably transfer my American miles to Qantas and book with them. You can see that United also has this flight, but Aeroplan doesn't have it, which means it's not available to partners. So This is the YN9 fare, whatever that means. I just know it's not the X fare, which you can book with a partner. Delta here at 22,000 miles. No surprise there. I would probably book it with Qantas and use my American Express points to transfer to Qantas. I'm also going to check point.me and search from Chicago, all airports. Nice that they have both of them listed there. And they show the same thing. Not really anybody coming in. It looks like they do not show the Qantas rates. So maybe if we just look at, let's try American Express rewards only. Yeah, it's showing you Delta, which is not true because seats.aero has the Qantas rates there. Okay, now I go on points, and let's go from Chicago to Huntsville. Yep, okay, that's the date. Don't think anyone's going to beat that rate of 4,500 on Alaska. But I don't have Alaska miles, so. Points, shows you the cash price of the flight. That's a really nice feature. And I'll go to bank programs here. Okay, so Points is showing the Qantas rate. This is the one that I would transfer to in order to book this flight. Now, if I were going from Chattanooga to Chattanooga, for example, instead, where the rates are lower, let's see if United has availability on this day. I'm seeing it, but I'm not seeing it on their partners. So if a partner has it, it's going to be available for less than this. It's going to be available on Aeroplan for 6,000 miles, but it doesn't look like it's available. Now I would go to united.com and search this here, book with miles. And let's go February 13. They will always give you this award alert to sign in. You do not have to agree to this. And I can see that they're not offering any Saver award space. I'm looking for Saver award space. Let's see if I see it. I don't see it the day before. It looks like it is available on that Tuesday though. Okay, so I'm seeing Saver award here. So now if I put this in seats.aero, and the beauty of this obviously is that I could just leave this here and go between 3 days. It's likely going to show me that. I bet it's going to refresh. Let's see if it comes up with something here. Looks like it hasn't scanned Aeroplan yet. Come on. Interestingly enough, it is not showing that Saver award space. Okay, so now I'm going to scan this with seats.aero and see if this flight comes up with Aeroplan. It should, because this is that X fare that I was talking about. It is X2. Does that mean it's not available to partners? I don't know. Again, this is not a perfect science. So I could search this on Aeroplan, but I like seats.aero's little feature here that you can just click book via Air Canada Aeroplan, and it will pull up the seat for you immediately and see if it's there. I don't need to sign into you either. We have not found flights available, even though there's Saver award space. Okay, so I'm going to go back here, and I'm going to search within a week and see if I can find direct flight on... I want it to be on Aeroplan. Oh, let's see if there's anything available on Aeroplan. Usually, if it's available on Velocity, it will be available on Aeroplan as well. Don't ask me why. Okay, that X9 fare is probably the one that we're looking for. And let's go here. Okay, yep, they do have it available. And there's these 3 days. Now, you would have to go a week earlier, so in this case, you're probably stuck. So if we had to go on the 13th, we're probably going to be going, either paying this rate here, transfer partners, only direct flights, I don't care about that. Yeah, so again, looks like American wins in this case, but it does have connections. So for short flights in the United States, there's a lot of options. For longer flights, I pretty much always look on United to try to find saver award space.